A simple woman was shamed. Seconds later, 5 SEALs stood at attention. The camera sweeps across the school auditorium, capturing a vibrant mosaic of colors. Hand-painted banners flutter gently from the ceiling, each one bursting with the creativity of young hands. The walls are adorned with student artwork, bright and bold, telling stories of imagination and hope. The chatter of families fills the air, soft murmurs of pride, excitement, and the occasional laughter weaving together like a comforting blanket. Rows of folding chairs stretch across the room, filled with parents and relatives eagerly awaiting the ceremony to begin. Children, some fidgeting with nervous energy, others already standing tall in their polished shoes and crisp shirts, cluster near the stage. The scent of fresh flowers mixed with the faint aroma of school cafeteria snacks lingers softly. Among the sea of faces, the camera's gaze finds a woman seated quietly in the back row. She is unassuming in every way. Her dress simple, the fabric worn but clean, her hair pulled back in a modest bun that reveals no trace of extravagance. There are no sparkling jewels to catch the light, no designer handbag resting on the floor beside her. Instead, there is an unmistakable aura of calm humility about her, a quiet dignity that sets her apart, though few notice. Her eyes are fixed on the stage, soft and warm, shining with a maternal glow that suggests stories far beyond what this room knows. She watches not just the children, but the moments, the small victories, and the everyday miracles that fill this space. To the crowd around her, she's just another mother, perhaps here to support her own child or simply part of the community. But there is more beneath the surface, something deeper and far more profound. The camera lingers on her face, capturing the subtle curve of her lips as a gentle smile forms. A faint crease appears at the corner of her eyes, hinting at years of laughter, tears, and unspoken strength. Her hands rest folded in her lap, steady and composed, as if she carries the weight of countless untold stories. Nearby, groups of parents whisper, their voices barely audible. "Who is she?" one asks quietly. Another shrugs, "No idea. Just some mom." No one imagines that this woman, sitting silently in the shadows of this cheerful gathering, is General Richardson, a name whispered in reverence in distant places far from this auditorium. Her military career, decorated and formidable, is a secret kept from the world she now inhabits. Here, in this small moment, she is simply a woman, a mother, a quiet observer. The irony is striking, one of the nation's most respected leaders in uniform, blending seamlessly into the crowd, invisible to the eyes that scan the room for someone to admire or judge. The camera shifts to the stage, where the principal steps up to the microphone, clearing his throat. The room settles, anticipation rippling through the audience like a gentle wave. The woman's eyes narrow just slightly, not in suspicion, but with a sharpened focus born of years in command, ready to witness whatever unfolds next. Around her, the crowd buzzes with excitement about awards and recognitions, future stars, and shining moments. Yet, there is a quiet tension that lingers, unseen by most but felt deeply by those who understand the weight of sacrifice. As the principal begins to speak, the camera pulls back, capturing the entire auditorium once more, the hopeful faces, the bright banners, and the one simple woman whose story is waiting to be told. For now, she remains in the background, a silent guardian, a humble mother. But soon, her presence will demand attention in a way no one here could expect. The screen fades gently, leaving viewers with a feeling of quiet anticipation as the story of the simple woman in the back row begins to unfold, one that will challenge assumptions and reveal the true meaning of honor. The principal's voice resonates through the microphone, warm and welcoming as he begins to address the crowd. "Good afternoon, parents, teachers, and students. We're so proud to celebrate our young achievers today." The auditorium hums with excitement, applause rippling softly like waves. But just as the ceremony settles into its rhythm, 2 security officers make their way through the rows, their steps deliberate and eyes scanning. They approach the woman seated quietly at the back, a figure so unassuming she might have remained invisible if not for their focused attention. One of the officers clears his throat gently, leaning toward her with a smile that doesn't quite reach his eyes. "Excuse me, ma'am," he says softly, but there's a subtle edge beneath the politeness. This section is reserved for VIP guests and invited parents only. The woman meets his gaze calmly, her voice barely above a whisper, yet steady and composed. "I'm here for my son." The officers exchange a quick glance, a silent conversation passing between them, assumptions made, decisions reached. "We don't see your name on the guest list," the second officer replies, his tone growing firmer. "I'm afraid you'll have to leave." A ripple of murmurs rises from the nearby parents, a mixture of curiosity and judgment. Some lean in, whispering quietly to one another. A few chuckle under their breath, the kind of laughter that stings, a low, dismissive sound, sharp enough to cut through the woman's quiet dignity. But she doesn't flinch. Her posture remains straight, her hands resting calmly in her lap. "Please," she says again, her voice gentle yet resolute. "Let me stay." The room seems to hold its breath. The security men's expressions harden, their authority asserting itself, but the woman remains unmoved. Around her, embarrassment begins to spread like wildfire, parents shifting uncomfortably in their seats, eyes darting away, faces flushed. Some feel awkward for the woman, others are unsure how to respond. Yet in the middle of it all, she holds her ground. Her eyes don't waver from the stage, where a young boy, her son, stands nervously waiting to be called. To the world, she is simply a mother fighting for a place to witness a moment of pride. But beneath her calm exterior burns a well of strength forged through battles far beyond these walls. The whispers grow louder, some tinged with cruelty. Who does she think she is? Why won't she just leave? This isn't the place for her. The crowd's mood shifts, the joyous occasion tinged with a quiet tension. Yet even amid the growing discomfort, the woman's expression remains unbroken, serene as a still lake before a storm. The principal glances toward the back of the room, noticing the disruption for the first time. His smile falters, caught between the ceremony's flow and the rising unease. He opens his mouth to intervene but hesitates, caught in the awkwardness that now blankets the auditorium. The security men, sensing the moment slipping, straighten their posture, ready to escort her out. But she stands slowly, with the grace of someone who has faced far greater challenges than a few harsh words or sideways glances. "I'm here for my son," she says once more, her voice clear and unwavering, carrying a quiet authority that silences the room. "He deserves to see me here." For a heartbeat, the auditorium is still. The whispers die down, replaced by an electric tension. The woman's simple plea carries more weight than anyone expected. She's no longer just a figure in the back row. She has become a symbol of something larger: resilience, love, and unwavering courage. The security men exchange uncertain looks. The crowd watches, captivated, sensing the start of a story that will change everything. Her gaze shifts finally from the stage to meet theirs, not with anger, but with quiet dignity and strength. In that moment, the room realizes this is not just a mother standing her ground. This is a woman whose story is about to command the respect of everyone present. The moment the young boy steps onto the stage, the auditorium lights brighten, spotlighting him like the star of a carefully woven tapestry. His small frame carries a medal gleaming against his chest, a symbol of achievement earned through hard work, late nights, and relentless determination. He walks with a mix of pride and nervous excitement, his eyes scanning the sea of faces before him. The camera focuses tightly on his face, wide eyes searching the crowd for one familiar figure. But the woman who should be there, the one whose love and support have been his quiet foundation, is nowhere to be seen. The empty seats near the back where she once sat remain vacant. Back near the entrance, the woman moves silently, her steps measured but reluctant as two security officers gently guide her toward the hallway. Her expression is calm, almost serene, but beneath it lies a quiet heartbreak, a mother being torn away from the moment she so deeply deserves. The camera cuts back to her son, his smile faltering, the sparkle in his eyes dimming as the realization settles in. His face, once alight with joy, now carries the shadow of confusion and disappointment. He looks around again, hoping for a glimpse of her, but the space remains empty. The principal steps forward, clearing his throat as he begins the announcement. This young man has excelled not only in academics, but on the athletic field as well. His dedication and perseverance set an example for us all. The words ring out clearly, but the joy that should accompany such praise feels distant, almost hollow. The applause rises around the auditorium, filling the space with sound, but for the boy, it seems to echo in a void. His eyes glisten, caught between the pride of recognition and the sting of absence. The medal around his neck feels heavy, not just with achievement, but with the weight of a moment incomplete. In the corner of the frame, the camera lingers on the woman as she reaches the hallway. The door closes softly behind her, the noise of the auditorium muffled but still present. Her silhouette pauses, a breath caught in time. She doesn't argue or resist. Instead, she allows herself a moment to absorb the pain of being separated from her son's milestone. The applause continues, swelling like a tide, but for her, it is distant, a reminder of what she is missing. The faces in the crowd blur together, joyful yet oblivious to the quiet sacrifice happening just beyond the doors. The camera returns to the boy on stage, his gaze distant now, searching again for the presence that should have been there to share in this victory. His small hands fidget with the metal, tracing its edges as if to find comfort in its cold weight. The principal, sensing the shift in mood, glances toward the back of the room, his expression clouded with concern. The joyous celebration now feels tinged with unease, a subtle fracture beneath the surface. The audience remains mostly unaware of the woman's absence, caught up in their own cheers and applause, but the air has changed, filled with an unspoken question. The boy's friends in the front rows glance at each other, noticing the shadow over their friend's face. One whispers softly, "Where's your mom?" But the boy doesn't respond. His eyes remain fixed forward, a silent plea hidden deep within them. The camera holds on this moment, capturing the complexity of victory and loss intertwined. The bittersweet reality of a young life marked by achievement and the painful absence of a mother's embrace. As the applause fades and the next student steps forward, the screen gently blurs around the edges, drawing focus to the boy's face once more. It's a face that carries both hope and sorrow, a silent story waiting to unfold. The scene closes with a lingering shot of the empty seat in the back row, the space where a mother once sat, her presence unseen but deeply felt. The story has only just begun, and the true meaning of courage and sacrifice is about to be revealed. Just as the woman's steps falter near the auditorium's side exit, a sudden shift ripples through the air. The double doors at the side swing open silently, and 5 men in immaculate dress uniforms enter with a quiet but unmistakable presence. Their arrival is without fanfare. No announcements, no drum rolls, just a steady, commanding calm that immediately draws every eye in the room. The crowd falls into a hush as these men move with practiced precision, their polished shoes clicking softly against the floor. Without a word, they take positions at the back of the auditorium, standing like sentinels, silent pillars of authority amid the whispering crowd. Murmurs ripple like waves among the parents and students, eyes darting between the newcomers and the woman being escorted away. One of the men, taller and more imposing than the others, steps forward. His gaze is sharp, unwavering. With deliberate, measured steps, he approaches the 2 security officers who flank the woman. The distance closes quickly until he stops just a few feet away from her, his posture erect, voice low but steady and commanding. "That woman is General Richardson," he states clearly, every syllable carrying weight. "Stand down." For a brief moment, disbelief flickers across the security officers' faces. One of them scoffs, a short, dismissive laugh escaping as if this must be some cruel joke or mistaken identity. But the SEAL's hand moves with fluid precision to reveal a badge, a credential unmistakably official, gleaming in the soft auditorium light. The room freezes. Conversations cease mid-whisper. Eyes widen, jaws tighten. The weight of those words settles like a stone in the silence. The woman, standing still, looks up at the man with a quiet, grateful nod, the only acknowledgement she offers. Her posture straightens, dignity restored, as if a veil has been lifted from the scene. The energy in the room shifts palpably. Tension melts into respect. Hesitation turns into awe. One by one, the 5 SEALs snap to full attention, their movements synchronized and deliberate, a testament to discipline and honor. The once dismissive laughter disappears completely, replaced by a profound hush. The auditorium feels smaller somehow, the air thick with recognition and reverence. Parents whisper among themselves, eyes scanning the woman again, seeing her in a new light. She is no longer just a quiet figure at the back. She is General Richardson, the leader, the warrior, the woman whose sacrifices are woven into the very fabric of the nation's defense. The realization settles over the crowd like a wave, breaking down assumptions and silence alike. The principal, watching from the stage, straightens, suddenly aware of the full gravity of the moment unfolding behind him. His voice catches as he prepares to speak again, his respect unmistakable even before the words come. The woman's gaze returns to the stage, then to her son, now watching with wide, hopeful eyes from the front rows. This moment of intervention has not only restored her presence but redefined the narrative, no longer a scene of shame, but one of honor and recognition. The 5 SEALs stand guard like shadows cast by truth. Their solemn salute is silent but powerful tribute. The auditorium pulses with newfound respect, every person present touched by the quiet strength radiating from this simple woman who is anything but simple. As the camera slowly pulls back, capturing the entire scene, the story pauses at this moment of transformation, a mother's love reclaimed, a leader's dignity restored, and a community's perspective forever changed. No one laughs now. No one doubts. The silence speaks volumes. The principal steps away from the microphone, his voice trailing off as the unexpected stir ripples through the auditorium. His brow furrows in confusion, eyes scanning the crowd. Whispers grow louder, and a teacher leans in, her voice urgent and wide-eyed as she whispers something in his ear. The weight of her words is immediate, a sudden spark that shifts everything. Straightening quickly, the principal clears his throat and regains his composure. "Ladies and gentlemen," he announces, his voice steady but filled with newfound respect, "we'd like to recognize someone very special in the audience today." The room pivots, attention shifting from the stage to the back where the woman, once being quietly led away, now moves forward. She walks with a calm confidence, each step measured and graceful. There is no arrogance in her stride, only a composed dignity, a quiet strength that seems to fill the space around her. Her son's eyes widen, recognition dawning like a sunrise across his face. The confusion and disappointment that clouded his expression moments ago melt away, replaced by awe and pride. He watches intently as the woman who had seemed so simple now carries herself like a hero returned. Behind them, the large screen flickers to life. Bold letters appear, commanding the attention of every eye in the auditorium. Major General Evelyn Richardson, U.S. Marine Corps. The name hangs in the air like a revelation, electric and powerful. The silence that follows is thick, pregnant with disbelief, admiration, and respect. The audience sits frozen for a heartbeat, absorbing the full magnitude of the moment. Then, like a tidal wave breaking free, the silence bursts into applause, slow at first, hesitant, then swelling into a thunderous ovation that fills the room with sound and energy. Hands clap with reverence, voices cheer with genuine admiration, and eyes sparkle with newfound understanding. The camera focuses on the woman's face, serene yet touched by the moment. Her eyes meet her son's, and in that glance, 1,000 unspoken words pass between them: love, sacrifice, pride, and the silent battles fought behind closed doors. The principal steps forward once more, his voice steady and clear. Major General Richardson's contributions to our country and our community have been immeasurable. Today, we honor not just a military leader, but a mother whose strength and dedication inspire us all. Around the auditorium, parents and teachers nod, students whisper excitedly, and the atmosphere shifts from celebration to reverence. The story of the simple woman in the back row has transformed into a powerful narrative of courage and humility. Her son stands now beside her on the stage, beaming with pride, his medal glinting in the spotlight as they share a quiet embrace. The crowd watches, moved by the raw and beautiful truth of this reunion, a moment where personal and public honor merge seamlessly. The camera pans across the faces in the audience, capturing the spectrum of emotions: surprise, respect, and deep admiration. This is more than an awards ceremony now. It is a tribute to the unseen heroes who walk among us, whose sacrifices ripple far beyond what the eye can see. As the applause continues, the screen fades gently, leaving behind the echo of a story that will linger in hearts and minds long after the event ends, a reminder that beneath every quiet exterior may lie a legacy of profound bravery. The scene closes on Major General Richardson and her son, standing side by side, bathed in the warm glow of acceptance and honor. The crowd's applause fades into a heartfelt murmur, the simple truth of this moment speaking louder than any words ever could. The camera slowly pans across the auditorium, capturing the subtle but profound transformation in the faces of those who had whispered just moments before. The parents who exchanged sidelong glances, the ones who chuckled quietly, now sit with expressions softened by shame and regret. Their eyes no longer carry judgment, but a deep, reflective admiration, a silent acknowledgement of their own misplaced assumptions. In the center of it all stands Major General Evelyn Richardson, poised and unyielding. Beside her is her son, his small hand nestled securely in hers, the medal he wears resting heavily against the crisp fabric of her uniform. She does not raise her voice to the crowd. She does not make a grand speech or dramatic declaration. Instead, she simply stands, embodying strength and humility in perfect harmony. The 5 SEALs remain stationed at the back, statuesque in their discipline, their presence a steadfast reminder of the respect this woman commands, not just as a mother, but as a leader and warrior. Their silent vigilance lends an air of solemnity to the moment, a quiet guard over the dignity that has been so fiercely reclaimed. The security guards who had earlier confronted her now step aside, their heads lowered, faces flushed with embarrassment. They fade into the background, unseen and unheard, a subtle yet powerful symbol of how fleeting assumptions and misjudgments can be when faced with the truth. The boy, still wearing his medal, moves closer to his mother and wraps his arms around her in a tight embrace. The camera captures this intimate moment, the warmth of a child's love meeting the strength of a woman who has endured battles far beyond the auditorium walls. The medal presses gently against her chest, a tangible symbol of achievement and sacrifice shared between them. There is no need for words, no speeches, no fanfare, just stillness, a pause that carries the weight of truth and the quiet dignity of a bond that needs no explanation. As the crowd absorbs this profound silence, something shifts. Slowly, applause begins to rise once more. This time, it is different, measured and deliberate, each clap carrying a depth of respect and meaning far beyond the superficial cheers that had filled the room earlier. The applause grows steadily, rising like a slow tide that swells with genuine appreciation. It is no longer a reaction to ceremony or obligation, but a heartfelt tribute to courage, resilience, and the unyielding spirit of a mother who stood firm against misunderstanding. Parents wipe away tears, some nod in quiet reverence, while students lean forward, their eyes bright with newfound inspiration. The auditorium is filled not just with sound, but with a shared sense of awakening, a collective recognition that true strength often hides behind the most unassuming faces. The principal watches from the stage, his own expression softened, humbled by the moment. He steps forward quietly, honoring the silence that speaks louder than any speech. The event moves forward, but the energy in the room remains charged with the memory of this powerful encounter. Outside the auditorium, the day continues, but something has changed. Stories will be told, lessons learned, and perceptions forever altered. The simple woman once shamed is now a beacon of honor, her presence a testament to the power of resilience and grace under pressure. The camera lingers a moment longer on mother and son, their connection unbroken, their love a quiet fortress against the world's harsh judgments. Around them, respect has been restored, not through words, but through the undeniable truth of who they are. And as the applause fades, the final image remains etched in the heart of every witness. A mother standing tall, a son shining with pride, and a crowd forever changed by the courage it took to simply be. As the final notes of applause fade into gentle murmurs, the ceremony draws to a close. Families begin to rise from their seats, gathering coats and backpacks, exchanging quiet conversations as they prepare to leave the warm embrace of the auditorium. The chatter hums softly, a contrast to the charged moments that have just passed. Among the departing crowd, some parents pause, their expressions hesitant but sincere. They approach Major General Evelyn Richardson with tentative steps, extending hands in greetings, offering quiet apologies for their earlier doubts and whispers. Her response is measured, a gentle nod here, a faint smile there, no grand gestures or drawn-out conversations, just the simple grace of a woman who understands more than words can say. The 5 SEALs, still composed and unwavering, quietly move to escort her and her son through the hallways. Their presence is both protective and respectful, an unspoken acknowledgement of the weight she carries, not just as a military leader, but as a mother and a symbol of strength. As they near the exit, sunlight spills through the open doors, bathing the hallway in a soft, golden glow. The warmth seems to soften the edges of the day's events, casting long shadows that stretch behind them like silent witnesses to the story unfolding. Stepping outside, the woman pauses, allowing her son to catch up beside her. He looks up at her with wide, curious eyes that have witnessed both pride and pain, confusion and clarity. After a brief silence, he finally breaks it with a small voice filled with wonder and genuine surprise. "I didn't know you were a general." She smiles, a soft, tender smile that reaches deep into her eyes. Her hand rests lightly on his shoulder, steadying and reassuring. "I'm your mother first," she says simply, her voice warm and unwavering. The boy nods slowly, the weight of her words settling like a gentle truth in his heart. Together, they begin to walk away from the school, side by side, their steps in sync as they move forward into the world beyond the walls of the auditorium. The camera pulls back slowly, widening the frame to capture the scene from afar. The school stands quiet and still behind them, the crowd dispersing, conversations resuming their everyday rhythm. But the lingering sense in the air is unmistakable. A sacred moment has just unfolded, a quiet revolution in understanding that transcends titles and appearances. The simple woman, once shamed and nearly dismissed, had never needed a title to hold power. Her presence alone carried a force that demanded respect and admiration. She had faced judgment without complaint, stood strong in the face of misunderstanding, and emerged with her dignity and her son's pride unbroken. As they disappear into the distance, the light around them seems to brighten just a little more, as if the world itself is acknowledging the quiet courage it takes to simply be true. No words are needed. The story, etched in the hearts of those who witnessed it, speaks for itself. The camera fades out on this image, mother and son walking forward together, united, unstoppable, and forever changed.